This is John from Georgia. I want to know what the fuck is going on with Pat McAfee and the Indiana boys. Something about he's quit?
Yeah, he is. He quit.
How in the fuck do y'all lose the only cat that can carry a rodeo program on this goddamn station?
Well, Joe, he quit.
My name ain't goddamn Joe.
Oh, what's your name?
John from Georgia. I said it twice.
John, he quit.
The cocksucker answered the phone the first time, and then I told you.
Okay. John,
So
he quit.
He ain't on the radio no more. He's done. He's gone.
Yes, he quit.
That's what happens when you quit.
Yeah.
There's an opening, though, John, if you're interested.
John, how do you like Georgia's schedule this year?
Great pivot there from the big cat. Such a legend. And that response right there was a call-in to Evening Yak, I believe, on Friday with a friend of the show, John from Georgia. And that reaction was one I did not expect from a lot of people, to be honest. Thursday, something happened that was the tip of the iceberg between Barstool Business and myself. And Friday morning, I slept on it, and I just decided that I wasn't going to be able to deal with it anymore. And I didn't like it because I knew that it was going to lose our serious show. I knew that it was going to happen, but I just had to stand up, basically, for myself. And I released this message. I remember it like it was yesterday. Dave Portnoy to my right, Big Cat to my left. Squished on a couch in a creepy RV in San Francisco. It was my first casting couch experience of my life, and I couldn't fathom it going any better. What would follow is a beautiful friendship. Dave kept in touch with me, and when he got the Chernin investment, he informed me that part of the reason for the investment was to acquire talent that they thought fit the brand. As a Stoolie, I was excited about the offer. I pondered it a bit, and then it was around Thanksgiving of my final season. I had just received another fine from management for a tweet that wasn't offensive at all and is still on the internet today that I made the decision that the NFL wasn't for me anymore. We'll dig into that in a second. I told Dave I'm ready to walk away from $6 million-ish and make the transition to internet businessman. He was shocked but excited about it all, to say the least. We negotiated a deal that allowed me to stay in Indianapolis and also teach me the business of the internet. Full transparency into everything. I wanted to learn from the man who transformed a newspaper from the streets and corners of Boston to a company valued at $100 million. A few weeks later, I'd be voted into my second Pro Bowl. Had to put that in there, by the way, just to suck me off. Yeah. Whenever I was typing this up, I had to add that. I didn't want to, but I was like, you know what? I feel like sometimes people forget. So I just had to do it. Then the retirement, Super Bowl week. Everything was exciting and moving so fast. My friends, Diggs, Todd, Nick, who I owe the world to, joined me in creating a podcast and video content literally the next day. We hustled and built it up, just watching and learning from the greatest podcast on earth, pardon my take, which we still do to this day, by the way. The following fall, the NFL Network offered me to be on a show. I turned them down to do a college football show on Facebook with Dave Portnoy. Although I don't think the NFL will ever offer me TV time again. They did not appreciate me turning them down, by the way. just for future reference, they did not appreciate it.
Those motherfuckers turning us down?
That's basically how they did it. But they could have gave me a chance coming out of retirement. Sure. There was a pseudo agent kind of sending out feelers to networks. If Pat was to retire, would you want me? Nobody bit. Now, granted, that guy could be full of shit. Now, hindsight, thinking about it. That guy had no relationship with me. He just gave me maybe bogus information. But Barstow did take a shot at me. That's why I am very grateful for that. But NFL Network offered me to be on a show that upcoming fall. I turned them down to do a college football show on Facebook. Those 6 weeks of traveling around the country with Dave taught me a lot about the work it takes to be successful on the internet. It never stops. The internet literally never stops. And that's what I learned from Dave. One of the episodes was soundless. There was actually no sound. We laughed about it and kept it moving. I wondered what the NFL Network people who watched it were like, that motherfucker turned us down for this show in the middle of Iowa with no fucking sound for 30 minutes. Made me think. We laughed about it, kept it moving. What happened after that was a true thing of beauty. Barstool became an absolute rocket ship. A serious channel, a deal with Twitter, the ESPN cancellation, which I was in HQ for the day it happened, back-to-back with folks battling against everybody, Rough and Rowdy blowing up, the list goes on and on. With all that comes a lot of add-ons to the company. Dave and Erica were guiding a ship to a promised land, focused on what's next. And the business side of things with me became very difficult being 713 miles away. Financial decisions were being made for me by people I had never met. Deals were getting made and pulled without my knowledge. The transparency of everything became obsolete and also very expensive. In my note, I would like everybody to know, obsolete was spelled correctly first time I tried it.
It's a good word.
No autocorrect, no Google search. Obsolete, first time I type it, no red underline, nothing. Felt real good about it. It was quite a little
Pat on the back.
pat on Pat's back.
It was perfect.
It felt really good. And it was true, too. The transparency became obsolete. Yes. I would get an email with a number that would just be typed in by somebody. I'm like, where the fuck's this number come from? Or I'd get an email from somebody I'd never met before, like, I need you to do 2 swipe ups today by the end of 5 o'clock. Like, who the fuck are you? What is that? How does that even happen? And it's because the business side was growing so big. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, I do not place blame or hold any grudge towards Erica or Dave for any of this. It is below them. I began being disrespected by the business people in the building. And I decided that I don't want to make money for those folks anymore. I'm very proud of the work I did with Barstool. I'm lucky to have called myself a peer to PFT and Big Cat, Handsome Hank, the geniuses Caleb and Rome with Buddha Ben editing the magic. Watching Robbie Fox grow has been truly fulfilling. I love that little dude. I do. He gets a lot of unwarranted hate, I think. Now, granted, does he come off as a little bitch sometimes? Absolutely. But I enjoy Robbie Fox a lot. KFC and Feidelberg were nothing but nice to me anytime I was in the office. Gaz refused to give me any promotion on social media, but I will forever cherish he and I's friendship. Frankie's in a tough spot with Tommy Smokes climbing the totem pole, but you two are both great dudes. Pete's a weirdo, but an incredibly talented and sweet weirdo. Getting to listen to Chicks in the Office after my show goes off the air is a highlight of my day. It was a nice little glimpse into another world that we're not consumed by. YP is the man. People make fun of his eyes. I don't think they should do that. Perk eyes came from birth. I don't think he's actually doing it. And the shit he's doing with Barstool Outdoors, by the way, should be very cool. Francis, Smitty, Carabas, Riggs, Trent, Nate, and anybody else I missed on the content floor, I love watching your incredible brains at work on a day-to-day basis. Also miss Coley. I'm a big fan of Coley. I can't believe I forgot him. I feel bad about that. I'll continue to be a stoolie, but I'm very excited to work for myself. I have absolutely no clue what's going on. Are going to happen. I'm officially a free agent. It's a weird feeling. My friends and I will still make a podcast, which you are listening to, a couple of times a week, and video content for my social media pages. The other folks in the Heartland office are meeting with Dave today about a potential future at HQ. Eric and I are going to pay any of the younger folks who end up out of a job from this a check worth 2 months' salary. Everybody that has worked at this Heartland office is good peoples. With great work ethics, I have nothing but faith for their future being an incredibly bright one. Thank you all for your time and commitment. I've loved working with all of you. The Barstool era of my life will be one I never forget. Thank you all so much for everything. I hope you have the greatest weekend of your life. P.S. K. Marco. I apologize that I never learned how to officially blog. I'm sure you would have been a cool guy to work with. And that is true. I never learned how to blog. And I wasn't brought in to be a blogger. I was brought in to make shows, podcasts, video content. It was the only reason why I was hired. Dave and Erica and I negotiated a deal where we just want to help you do it. And Dave said in his press conference that I put my nuts on the table. That's true. I did. I built this office. I was willing to go 50-50 on any dollars we were made. And with that being said, a lot of trust goes into the sales team that is happening, right? If your only money that you're making is going into the salespeople, you have to have a lot of faith in those salespeople. On that business floor, the only people we talked to, 4 of them got fired.
Yeah.
Got fired or left. There was nobody else that we knew on that business floor that talked to us. And everything just became blurry. And this is all, Dave has no idea this is happening. Dave's got a serious show to run. He's got a pizza review app that he's building. He's got a lot going on the content side. Erica's job is to negotiate new deals and new things like that. There's a business floor in Barstool. It's their job to make money for people in the office. It's their job to keep the lights on. And I didn't know any of those motherfuckers. Not a one of them.
Not one.
And not one of them gave a single fuck about any of us out here in Indiana. And that's not their fault, right? These people go to Harvard. These people go to all these big schools. They're super smart, super intelligent. There's no way that they thought these folks out in Indiana had anything to do with what Barstool was doing. And with that, I just had to say, you know what? I don't want to make money for y'all motherfuckers anymore. And I think it is a decision that I'll appreciate because it's starting to become a trend. I said after the Thanksgiving game, I decided the NFL was no longer for me. There was a situation with Ryan Grigson that occurred the Monday after the Thanksgiving game. If you do recall, in the Thanksgiving game against Pittsburgh Steelers, we got blown the fuck out on national TV. It was the biggest turkey bowl of the day. There's people playing in towns all over the place. We would have been shut out if it wasn't for a fake punt that Antonio Brown tackled Eric Swope at the 7 or 8 yard line. Then we scored a touchdown. And I obviously did the Conor McGregor, Vince McMahon walk, keep it moving. We score 7 there. We end up losing by a lot. I go home afterwards, celebrate Thanksgiving with my family. I come back to work Monday. I had some sinus thing happened. So I'm in the training room after a lifter practice, and I walk back to the locker room. I have, what's that stuff you take that just flushes your system? The pill. There's like 4 pills.
The Z-Pack.
Z-Pack, yeah. So I'm on a Z-Pack and a couple other things walking out of there on that Monday, so I'm good by Wednesday's actual practice. I walk into the locker room, and Grigson goes, "Can you come to my office?" I was like, "Yeah, man, let me go get dressed and I'll see you." You know, it was very positive. I'm maybe this is an olive branch. Maybe this is an olive branch. If it wasn't for me, we're shut out on national TV on Thanksgiving. You know, maybe I'm leading the league in almost everything. I don't think I've given up a return yard in maybe 2 months, 3 months at this point. I'm the number 2 jersey seller for the Colts. I mean, I'm doing a lot of charity work. There's a lot. Maybe this is Grigson being, you know, I find you 3 to 4 times before about dumb shit, but I would like to be friends. Maybe asking me for help. Maybe he's asking for help. But to be honest, that's what in my head. And I'm on a Z-Pack and a couple other things, and I'd assume there's some vitamins in me as well at this moment. So I go back to my locker. I get dressed, and I go back to his office. I've been there before. This is like the principal's office at the back of the hallway, okay? So I walk in there, and he goes, "Sit down." And I'm like, oh, well, immediately, this is not what I thought this was going to be. I'd already talked to Dave, by the way. Dave already told me that they had an investment to bring people in like me whenever my playing days were over. Todd and I had already had many a discussion about retiring and creating our own app. I mean, there was already in my head me being sick of making money for Ryan Grigson and the Colts operation at the time. So I walk in there, and he goes, "Sit down." And it was at that moment I realized, as soon as he told me the stern sit down, I was like, yep, I'm fucking done here. So I sit down on one side of the table. He sits down on the other side of the table. He pulls a picture out that I posted before the Thanksgiving game, Thanksgiving Monday maybe. It's me standing in the equipment room on a box with an electrical outlet coming down and me holding it like this on top of the box. Everything around it is blurred out. And it goes, "I'm just waiting for the WWE to give me a call to make the most electric promo since like The Rock or something like that." It was just a post I put on Instagram. No big deal. Keep it moving. Put it on Twitter and put it on Instagram. So I sit down. He has that picture on a piece of paper, okay? He has that picture on a piece of paper. Slams it on the desk. Pushes it across the desk to me. And I look at it. And at this moment in my head, I've already said fuck it to this guy, right? So I look at the photo. I'm like, oh, yeah, you know? And I look up at him. It's like a moment of silence. He wants like that dramatic, quiet. So I'm like, oh, yeah. And he goes, "What is that?" And I go, "Yep, posted that week and a half ago on my Instagram and Twitter." He goes, "Where's that picture taken?" I said, "In the equipment room." Actually, one of the equipment managers took the picture for me, actually. And he pulls out my contract, okay? Pulls out my contract, opens it up, goes to a clause. He goes, "Since this isn't your first offense, I can fine you a game check for this." Game check, by the way, you only get 17 paychecks for your entire salary. So if you want to look up what that was, it was $100,000 almost. He said, "I can fine you a game check for this." I said, "For what?" He said, "Look, is that a football room?" I said, "Well, title it's an equipment room. Like, that's the actual title, is that it's an equipment room.
That's what it says on the door.
It actually, it's an equipment room. He goes, is that a football room? I said, equipment room. Equipment room. Footballs are in there, I guess. He goes, why do you have to be such a smartass? And I go, me? And he goes, yeah, I could find you anything I want. This is why we're losing, by the way. This is why we lost to the Steelers, he tells me. So at this moment, I had decided that it is time to no longer sit back and take this. This has been the fourth, fifth time the guy has called me into his office and fined me for something I found very stupid. So I clearly lifted up the photo that he had of me. I put it next to me. I said, you paid a guy $140 million. And you can't keep him healthy. Your offensive line, Swiss cheese, he's blown out his shoulder 3 times, and you're worried about this bullshit? And he goes, what did you just say to me? I go, oh, yeah. I mean, I'm best in the game at what I do. I wish you would do the same. So this is a moment that he did not expect. This is a moment that he did not expect, right? He goes, you're going to walk into my office and disrespect me? I go, well, you called me in here, right? You called me into here. He said, I'm going to find you a whole game check. I said, cool, bro. And literally walked out of his office. As I'm walking out, he gives me the, get out of my office. I'm like, already walking out. Already out of the office, cuz. Already out. So I shut the door behind me. Grigson's assistant is like, she's been around since before Grigson gets there. She knows me. She's like, what happened? I was like, some bullshit. So I walk down the hallway, and Chuck Pagano's office is right there, right? And I go, hey, if you had anything to do with that, you can go fuck yourself too, just like I told Grigson. He was like, what? He's like, what are you talking about? You can go fuck yourself too, Chuck. And he was like, what just happened? I was like, fuck you, right? Because I thought him and Grigson were... Chuck had no idea. Told him to go fuck himself like 3 times, right? So then I leave the building. I walk out. Tom McMahon, my special teams coach, sees me like furious. He's like, what happened? I'm like, fuck you too, right? Everybody can get it at this moment. So I get a text from Tom McMahon's like, I have no clue what happened, but let's just get back to work on Wednesday. You're killing it right now. No need to worry. So then I get a call from Chuck, right? And Chuck goes, I did not know that was happening. I am so sorry. And I'm like, Chuck, listen, man. And I read off all the things that I was doing for that team, for the team. And I told Chuck on that phone call, I said, I just don't feel like you guys appreciate or are grateful for what I'm doing for you. Yeah, you don't put any value on what I've done for you. You don't put any value on any... Because in the locker room, we had a up-and-down team, a young team. I feel like I was pretty valuable in the locker room. I was doing my job to my best ability. I showed up every day to work. I was never late. I sat in the front row of meetings. I was like, anything at work, I busted my dick off because I wanted to be able to talk. And as a punter, you have to be good to talk. You can't just suck and talk. So I told Chuck, that was the conversation after Chuck like called me, and he was like, I don't know anything about this, blah, 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 blah. So I told him, I said, hey, man, I don't think the NFL is for me anymore. And to be honest, I don't want to make money for you guys anymore. And I'm done. I am done after this season. I'll finish this season because I'm probably going to make another Pro Bowl, which is a $250,000 bonus. But I am done. And this type of feeling, in the way it's going to be the death of me. And I told Dave that whenever I called him. I was like, Dave, because Dave wanted me to come back. He was like, we'll get the money. We'll transfer the money over there. We're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars being pulled directly out of the Barstool Heartland account 2 days before they're supposed to get activated. And I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. And Dave was like, let me make it right. Dave was very nice through this whole thing. And Dave sold the company so he didn't have to handle the business side, by the way. Dave was very nice. Let me make it up to you. And by that point, I was already like, man, I don't want to make money for the business people. Just like whenever I got to that point, as soon as he said, sit down in the chair to me, I was like, I don't want to fucking make money for this guy anymore. And it'll be the death of me. It honestly will be. But at least I sleep good at night. Except for last night, I'm fucking excited. Pat McAfee Show 2.0. It is September 4th. This is a rebirth. I'm very thankful for everything Barstool did for me. Dave and Erica are incredible people. I will be very friendly with them. I will still talk to them. It's just that business floor, I don't know if they didn't know our arrangement or if they just didn't care. And I'm thinking it was the second one. They're just trying to get money however they get it. But for me, it's time for us to kind of do our fucking thing. So the Pat McAfee Show will be every Tuesday, Thursday at noon. Heartland Radio hosted by Todd. All of us Monday, Wednesday coming out at noon. And Beat Pat McAfee brought to you by our studio sponsor, the company that got pulled 2 days before it was supposed to get activated. The reason why the Thursday conversation happened with Barstool, my bookie has jumped in and been a partner for us to really keep this thing going. They're sponsoring our studio. They're sponsoring Beat Pat McAfee. They're sponsoring Quick Hits with Diggs. They basically said, hey, this is a personal relationship. They flew out here, by the way. That's why whenever the deal got pulled, I knew exactly what it was because I was a part of negotiating it with the MyBookie people. They're like, hey, listen, just because you're not with Barstool anymore doesn't change anything with us. We still want to be in the Pat McAfee business. And I said, I'm not going to have a serious show. That's 15 hours of live radio a week that we're not going to have. They said, we don't care. We'll figure it out. And I was like, thank you so much.
Perfect.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Pat McAfee Show 2.0, September 4th, is coming to you live from the MyBookie studio in Indianapolis, Indiana. I fucking love it. Go to mybookie.ag, use promo code PAT, and they will match your deposit up to $1,000, 100%. You put $500 in, they're going to match at $500. You put $1,000 in, they're going to match $1,000. MyBookie is the greatest place on earth to gamble. In this Beat Pat McAfee show that's going to air every single Thursday at 11:50 on my social media platforms and then on our YouTube, they're going to be setting up bets for me to accomplish wild tasks.
Awesome.
Wild tasks. On Thursday, I'm doing NBA threes. 5 minutes of NBA threes. The over-under number is 18.5. If you go to mybookie.ag right now, use promo code PAT on your deposit, get a 100% match. Go ahead and bet the over or under on that. I'll have 5 minutes. The clock will be on Zito's bare chest. Right there, it'll be streaming live. You'll get to see your number. I think this is going to be an easy over bet. I think you hammer the over here. So not only does MyBookie 100% match, go ahead and put everything they put on it on the over, and now we're playing. Now we're playing the game. And that's going to be every Thursday. I'm going to be wrestling a sumo fucking wrestler at one point. This Beat Pat McAfee show is going to be wild, and MyBookie is the reason why we are existing, by the way. And I cannot thank them. I was on a hike with my lady. in the middle of the woods. I've been watching too many documentaries, thought I was going to get my fucking throat slit while we're out in the middle of these woods. And all of a sudden, I get a text from my bookie guys, like, you free for a call right now? I'm like, yup. And right in the middle of the goddamn woods, on a bench, like on the top of a Indiana mountain, we negotiated a deal, and here we are. So very thankful for the MyBookie and MyBookie Studio. With that being said, thank you at Todd McComas, sticking around, riding out the wave with the Pat McAfee Inc., Pat McAfee Show.
Thank you.
At Diggs with a Z. Scoops Diggs, by the way, has news to break today.
I do.
At Nick Baraldo, at Viva Lazito, at Ty Schmidt, at Evan Foxy. Very, very lucky for this group, and we cannot wait to grow and build. With that being said, let's have a fucking show. What's going on in the world, Diggs?
So, huge news yesterday and today, this morning, was that Colin Kaepernick is the face of Nike's 30th anniversary Just Do It campaign. The campaign slogan is believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. Some people are happy. Some people aren't.
Wild reaction on the internet, Diggs.
Yeah.
Wild.
People are burning their Nike stuff.
Yep. Nike had to have known. By the way, this is a big fuck you from Nike to the NFL.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
1 week out, by the way.
With the lawsuit going on.
1 week out, a big fuck you to the NFL. And they're the official sponsor.
Correct.
Isn't Nike winning that, though, because everyone bought those shoes already?
Yes, but it's stock, though. You got to think about stock. And I think this is the very interesting thing. They're still trending right now and probably will be trending for 2 more days. Darren Ravel said it was the first time he had like 10,000 responses to a tweet. It had 100,000 retweets or something like that. Just a polarizing situation. It almost feels like Nike had to have known what was coming.
Oh, they knew for sure.
And I was once a Nike athlete. I would like to talk about that.
Oh, yeah?
I was once a Nike athlete.
Nice.
So, Nike, Under Armour, it was Reebok back in the day. They all have these, like, little salespeople that come in the locker room. They try to win you over, shake your hand, you want to be a Nike athlete? I'm like, yeah. They're like, okay, this is what we can give you. we give you $1,000 in merch. I'm like, what does that mean? You can only wear Nike gloves. This was when Reebok had the deal. You can only wear Nike shoes. You can only wear Nike gloves. We'll give you $1,000 this year in merch. You go to NikeElite.com, and they had Cole Haan at the time too. So they had golf, Cole Haan, and Nike at the time. And everybody around me, I was friends. You got to remember, I was friends with Peyton, Joseph Adai, Clint Session, all these guys, big money guys. They all have these huge Nike deals, huge Reebok deals, and they're just raking in cash. And then they come up to me, punter, not really good either at the time. Here's $1,000 in merch. You come into NikeElite.com, you sign in, you can get $1,000 worth. Tax, by the way. Plus, that's getting taxed on the back end. So it's actually like $600 worth of merch. We'll sign you to a 3-year deal. Next year will be $2,500, and then the year after that will be $5,000.
Ooh, escalators.
Huh? You see that? You stick with us. Sounds good. In there somewhere, okay, I had like a year left, so I guess it's the second year. Phil Knight goes and speaks at Joe Paterno's funeral. Okay? This was right after finding out that Joe Paterno had harbored a pedophile for like 13 years.
Joe knew.
Joe did know.
Joe knew.
And the sheeple will say he didn't, but he did.
He did.
Just like this fucking Pope, by the way. His ass is in the jackpot. This Pope is in a bad spot.
For sure.
But Joe knew, right? So I send this letter to the sales guy, the Nike sales guy. I go, not that you guys having child labor create the shoes that I'm wearing. Not that you only gave me $1,000 last year when all my friends have like a $20,000 deal. But the fact that Phil Knight went and spoke at Joe Paterno's funeral makes me never want to wear Nike again. I would like to opt out of my final deal, or final year of my Nike deal. Send it. I get a response back. Yeah, no problem. From the guy, he was literally like, yeah, no problem. Terminated. See you later. 1 year later, Nike becomes the official sponsor of fucking the NFL. So I have to wear Nike everything anyways. So I took this big grandstand about how no way am I going $5,000 in free merch isn't going to win me over for what you did for the pedophile harborer. No way. And then 1 year later, they're the official sponsor of Nike, and I have to wear fucking Nike everything. And Under Armour won't sponsor. Nobody will sponsor me. So now I have no shoe deal. That's why my shoes were always blacked out if you ever watched it. So I would like to say that as an athlete who's been dropped by Nike, okay, who quit Nike without them caring, Nike knows what they're doing every single thing that they do. Nike, you don't get to the top of the fucking mountain for no reason. Nike knows exactly what they're doing every single time they operate. They knew this was going to be huge, and now it's just a wait-and-see game to see what the fuck happens. Like Todd, for instance, old white guy, middle of America, was in the Marines, was a state police. You are the perfect human to ask, like, how do you feel about this?
It won't make me stop wearing Nike shit.
It's so good. Their shit's so good.
Because
Adidas
it's so
is
good.
really good, by the way.
But I think when you look at who else you could have picked, I think it's a bad choice.
Yeah, sacrifice everything is an interesting word, strictly because whenever you talk about some risk, some sacrifice at all is like basically a quote that is thrown around on like Memorial Day and things like that. I think that the way they worded it, now granted, they meant for it to be like that. Correct. But I think they wanted it to be political. They wanted it to do that.
Yeah, and that's what I don't like about it.
Yeah,
now my fucking shoe company is getting political. It's like, damn, can we keep politics out of something?
It's interesting, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
Because politics is inches its way. And I think if you can bash Trump for a lot of the stupid shit that he said, but what he has done is made politics everything. Back in the day, politics wasn't everything.
Right.
Now it's everything. Every single thing that happens is politics.
That's a good point. Because that's what's supposed to be beautiful about sports is
escape.
It's an escape from politics and racial issues and all those things. And now, no, that's no longer a thing.
By the way, I think what Colin Kaepernick did raised a lot of conversations that needed to happen in America. I just don't know what the end game is. And I think I wore Adidas shoes today. Not even thinking about it because they're brand new. These Who's here, all white Who's. Didn't even think about it.
Fresh.
But now I'm scared that somebody's going to tell me like, "Oh, you're pro racial injustice, bro." I'm like, no. Pharrell made these fucking shoes. He's a black guy. Let's not get crazy.
Kanye's with Adidas.
Kanye. I mean, let's just. let's create. Let's create. So I want that to be known. But I'm scared that's what it's going to turn into.
I hope not.
I'm scared that's what it's going to turn into. And it's just it's a weird world we live in, bro. That took over everything, though. That shit was everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is what Nike. That's a marketing campaign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just love the fact that Nike's telling the NFL to go fuck off.
Straight to their face. You already
Because
took
they
our
can,
money.
because they're bigger than them.
You think Nike's bigger than the NFL?
As I looked it up this morning, I can't remember the fucking numbers. I wish I would have wrote
Like
them down.
money-wise?
Yeah, money-wise, Nike is bigger than the NFL.
Really?
Yeah.
You got 32 billionaires coming together?
I know I looked it up last year. So just in sales, I was seeing how close Adidas was in North America because Adidas is climbing each year closer to Nike in North America. So last year,
Oh, I can't wait for every
Last year
old
in
white guy.
revenue.
Oh, give me them Yeezys. He said he liked Trump, right? Give me them Yeezys.
just in North America, Nike did 15.2 billion in revenue in North America, and Adidas did 5.1 billion. So Nike is still fucking king. Like
Worldwide.
they can make them. I don't know what it was worldwide. I couldn't find those numbers, but just in America they made 15.
So how long? I wonder how long the Nike NFL deal is, because if that is a direct spit in the NFL's face.
It is, yeah.
And the NFL owners and Roger Goodell don't normally just look what happened with Tom Brady, the best player. They viewed that as a spit in the face, basically a disrespect. And I mean, we just had a whole opening about disrespect, but that's kind of how the NFL I think is going to view this.
Yeah.
And I'll be excited to see what happens from it all. I'll be excited to see what happens.
It says in March that the NFL and Nike signed an 8-year deal.
Oh!
So Nike's good.
Oh my God.
Imagine that annual meeting that they have where all those sales reps, the guy that told me, yeah, no problem, we don't fucking want you anyway, from all the teams, they all meet up at the summit with all the NFL owners, and all of them are just sitting on one side of the table, and then all of the Nike people are sitting on the other side, and Jerry Jones like, listen up, cocksucker. We had a little thing going there, and then you fucked it all up. Now, what's sad, though, Serena Williams, also a part of this campaign. There's numerous other people that are part of this campaign. That, no, it's not sad. Serena Williams probably has $400 million, and she married the guy that started Reddit, who follows me on Twitter. Shout out to him and her. Congrats on the baby. Good mom stuff. I think you should have been allowed to wear the Catwoman's or Batwoman's suit, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it really took over the world yesterday. The NFL is topic of discussion.
Do you think all the NFL lawyers are looking for the contract right now to drop Nike?
Oh, yeah. Conduct detrimental to the – this is what Grigson used to give me for every fine. Conduct detrimental to the team. Conduct like that fine he gave me was for $15,000. Asked Michael Cole for $16,000, by the way, the first time I fucking went and worked for them. So that comes full circle.
I can imagine the Nike buyout plan is like triple, like $30 billion or whatever, like if they get dropped. And they're trying to get dropped right now.
They literally just look 32 billionaires right in the eye and said, fuck you.
Yeah.
You gotta respect it. Like at some level you have to respect, no matter what side you're on. No matter what side you're on, you have to respect them literally staring down the pipe of the NFL, just being like, hey, eat shit, by the way. We've decided. There's a lawsuit happening.
Oh,
That's the main thing. I thought that would keep something like this from happening is that collusion lawsuit thing. Like
It's
that's
moving
a real
forward, too.
deal.
They just announced last week it's moving forward.
I will still wear Nike shoes, mostly because I enjoy their designs. They're comfy.
They're very comfy.
But I could see that there's going to be people that are pissed off about
yeah,
this.
there will be people that totally boycott Nike.
Yeah.
Because
They already are. They're burning their shoes.
yeah.
Which
Maybe
maybe we just donate them. Something to think about.
But I saw a lot of those shoes, and they looked like the Nike shoes that are like $39.99.
Yeah, exactly.
The Air Maxes.
Not the ones that are $200.
The Spice Adam
The
dad.
Monarchs.
Yeah, the Monarch
I
dads.
think Nike realized the people that they would piss off are not the majority of the people that buy.
People are going
Nike.
to pay less just to get Nikes to burn.
This is risk assessment, isn't it, for
Yeah,
Nike?
yeah.
It's a real risk assessment situation. They're like, because in the meeting, they have a big projector. This is what we're thinking. And there's some people in the room that are like, no.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that are like, why? Feel like we're going to get piss off a lot of people. Like, yeah, but are they our demographic anyways?
No.
Correct, exactly.
This is going to sound really petty, but like I just wish Kaepernick were a better football player because I do like
He did
side
get-
with the issues that he's trying to raise awareness for. I just wish he was better.
I mean, he's a good enough player to be on a fucking
Yeah,
team.
he got
There's
blacked,
a lot of
I mean-
dog shit quarterbacks
yeah,
on teams right now.
I just wish he was like dominant.
He did get benched for Blaine Gabbert. right?
Yeah.
Is that not what happened at the season that he started this kneeling thing all started? He was sitting down, by the way, before Nate Boyer, who is a Green Beret, told him to kneel instead of sit down because it was less disrespectful to the military. And this all could have ended very quickly if both sides would have just talked to each other about what it's about and what it's not about. But that's not the way the world works. The way the world works is everybody wants to see everybody burn down. I mean, that's just the way it operates. That's why, by the way, I think me and Barstool Sports split being amicable was very wild to people to see.
Yeah,
I think it was.
You don't see that very often.
Because it was just literally a communication failure, probably on both sides, but it was just like, yeah, we're off and running. But with Kaepernick, he got benched for Blaine Gabbert. But now, anytime a bad quarterback gets on a team, it's very hard not to just be like, Kaepernick's better than this fucking guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kaepernick's better than this fucking guy. And then you got to weigh in the Tim Tebow issue too, right? Just like Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was such a headache. And if he was going to be a backup quarterback, people were like, we don't want to deal with this Tebow. And that's the super Christian, ESPN, super push media circus, no matter what.
Right.
It's all, everything is risk assessment. That is really, Michael Peterson said that on The Staircase, and I've never heard something more accurate. It is whether or not a team wants to deal with everything that's going to come with it. But if you go strictly football player-wise, you have to assume he's better than a lot of the guys playing quarterback in the NFL right now. Have to. Speaking of good in the NFL, yo, Khalil Mack got broken the fuck off.
Yeah, he did.
Yep. Jesus.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he deserves it.
Gruden said what did Gruden say?
I just looked it up.
Hold on, I think we have Coach
my
Gruden
bad.
here. Do we not have Coach Gruden in the back tie? I don't know, since we're no longer affiliated with Barstool.
Oh, no, he rides with the Pat McAfee show.
Well,
nice.
tell him I saw that hat he was wearing in his press conference too. Real hip of him to wear that hat. Real cool. He said something along the lines of, he was asked about the Khalil Mack situation, and if you do recall at the beginning of training camp, whenever Khalil Mack started the sit out, he talked about how his defense was terrible. The Raiders' defense was bad last year with Khalil Mack. Shots fired, babe. As soon as he gets there, shots fired at a former Defensive Player of the Year, by the way, in one of his first 3 years in the league. And then yesterday he was asked after the Bears break off Khalil Mack. John Gruden said, what, is he back there? If he could just say it for us, that'd be great, so we don't have to rip it off somebody else. Yeah, Ty, is he back there?
I don't believe we were anywhere close to where the Bears were, man. The Bears made us an offer that we thought was really unique and very, very tough to say goodbye to a great player, but here we are today.
Gruden, Coach, I think you actually said one time we were nowhere near what the Bears were. Are you ever going to release what you guys tried to offer a former Defensive Player of the Year?
Well, we might, man, but the fact of the matter is we didn't have the cash flow. Me and Mark may have went to P.F. Chang's one too many times in the offseason. We couldn't pay the guy what he wanted to.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. Good luck out there, by the way.
Hey, appreciate it. You too, man.
Seems like it could be burning down around you. I'm not sure. Because he also said, what, $90 million guaranteed is wild? He's got $100 million guaranteed. That's a wild thing for a guy that's worth $100 million guaranteed to say. Just zero self-awareness over there from Gruden.
I just don't understand how you don't pay him.
Yeah.
Man, they went scorched earth, too. I mean, who else they cut? Martavis Bryant.
He has a suspension coming up, right?
Yeah, apparently it's under appeal, so the suspension is looming, and they know that's coming.
Is he getting picked up anywhere?
I
Watch
would
the Patriots
assume so.
pick his fucking ass up. It's only a matter of time.
He hasn't been picked up yet. I mean, so his last suspension, he was suspended for a year. I don't even know if he gets caught again. Is it another year? Is it even longer than a fucking year? Do you know?
Yeah. If you get caught again, Did you see out a year last time?
Oh yeah.
I think it's 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to CFL. Cuzzy coming in with the XFL.
Hey,
Or
can't.
no. He'd never. Yeah, you're right. He was never arrested.
Never arrested, just weed.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon. Oh shit, they smoke all the time.
Hey, Zito, that Bears defense is young and going to be very good. I don't think
That's
it's
a
this
game
year.
changer for you guys.
I don't think it's this year, but like the next 2 or 3.
Urlacher said it. We need a Bears defense back, and it's coming back.
Well, he said Lovie Smith too. I don't know if
He's not
Lovie's-
coming back, unfortunately, but
What an incredible stacked team all of a sudden. The
Do you
Bears.
like giving up 2 first-round picks for a player?
You're never going to find somebody like Khalil Mack in the first round.
Generational talent.
Yeah, you'll just get lucky. It's like whenever I, as a person who played 8 years in the league, whenever I seen so many misses. And now, granted, that might have been with the GM that we just spoke about earlier. I saw so many misses where if we would have traded that first pick or second pick for other than Trent Richardson, but for like an established player, at least you know what you're getting. It's like, okay, we're getting a lock. We're going to get 10 sacks from this. In your first round pick, will the guy become somebody like Khalil Mack? Possibly. Who knows? But right now you are getting that, right? And so and there's so many moves you can make to get first round picks back, by the way. I'm all about building the team now.
Florio had a really good analogy this morning. He's like, basically you traded a lottery ticket that you knew was a winner for 2 lottery tickets that you have 2 scratch-offs that you have no fucking clue if they're going to be winners or not.
I'm a big fan of the making moves thing. Now, granted, if the people fit the culture, you can't just bring in a bunch of jackasses. But I guess Khalil Mack is well liked.
Also, the Bears got a 2nd-round pick back too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gruden's dealing. Hey, Gruden, where'd you make that deal? Where were you sitting at when you made that deal?
I was in a Hooters bar. I'd had a couple Heinekens, and I just said, fuck it, man. I was ready to get it.
Gruden's going to get fired in like 3 years and then be back in the booth like, this fucking league, it's different now.
Never would have seen it coming, by the way.
I saw this over the weekend. I want to get your take on this. I thought this was interesting. The list of players traded for 2 first-round picks.
Okay.
Jay Cutler,
Nailed it.
Ricky Williams,
It's like the Bears are involved in it.
They were both proven players when they were traded.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Ricky Williams, he was the one that negotiated his own deal, right? Coming out of college?
I don't know.
No. Was that with the Saints?
Yes, he was at the Saints first, yes.
Yeah, he negotiated his own deal with Master P.
He didn't want to get paid until he hit a certain
number.
amount.
It was
of
all.
rush yards.
Yeah, it was all. Which I do. It was what I did with
Ricky
Barstool. By
He
the
was
way,
a different thinker. Ricky was a different thinker.
different.
He
Hell of a
retired
football
early
player.
too.
Yeah. He disappeared
Yeah, it was weird.
into the mountains. Like, hey, cuz I love vitamins too, but let's not just disappear into the woods.
That contract is called the worst of any NFL player in history.
Yeah, he negotiated himself. And Master P, obviously. Master P could have made an NBA. People forget.
Master P.
Yeah. Ricky Williams. Jay
Ricky Williams,
Cutler.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Was he good?
Yeah.
I only remember Keyshawn from TV, where he was not good.
He was really good when he was on the Jets.
And then the Bucks game. That was that trade.
Is that where Gruden was there? Was Gruden there when that
I
happened?
hope so.
Is Gruden just a 2 first-round trade son of a bitch? Good for him. I don't like these young guys, man. Get rid of them. Oh, I guess he just picked up 2 more first-rounders.
Yeah.
They're going to trade that for a big player, though.
I mean, they're fucked. The Raiders are fucked.
Why?
They don't have anyone on defense.
Yeah, this year I think they're mailing it in. They're going to Vegas when?
2020, I think.
Oh, shit. So Oakland's going to be pissed off with them for the next
And they
couple
keep saying
years.
they don't have the cash. They didn't have the cash to pay Khalil Mack, even though they just gave Gruden $100 million. But, like,
That's a salary cap.
they're getting – no. They're saying, like, the actual cash. Like, nothing to do with, like, cash to actually pay him. Like,
They don't have
Like
Davis does-
liquid assets.
liquid
yeah,
they don't have enough liquid assets to pay.
Oh, that is hysterical.
Even though aren't they getting $1 billion from the taxpayers of Vegas to, like –
Bro, is this the first time you've heard an NFL team be like, would
sure.
like to?
Yeah, and then I read a bunch of reports like that's a fucking lie because even the lowest of teams that have the liquid asset or the lowest liquid asset teams have enough fucking money to pay.
Yeah,
That
you would
Coliseum is a shithole, though. I mean, it's an incredible atmosphere.
Which means they're not paying dick for it, I assume. They haven't
Well,
renovated in a while.
Well, you got to think about real estate, though, over there in Northern California. But that place is a shithole. Best environment I've ever been a part of, though. Best environment. They were playing for the playoffs. That was when Carr was really juiced. It was the day before Christmas, and Trent Cole fucking broke Derek Carr's leg. Started getting death threats and shit. They were talking about Derek Carr being MVP there for a while.
Yeah.
That place was rocking. Shithole. Absolute shithole of a place. But they had a DJ up there that was only playing Oakland music.
Love that.
There was a weed haze above the stadium. They were tailgating before, throwing shit at our bus on the way in. It was everything you would want from the black hole. Like that experience, I will never forget it. I got tackled for a gain of 0. Ed Hockey would call it a fumble. Fuck him, it wasn't. But it was an awesome environment. But that place is a shithole. So maybe they don't have any money. Maybe Al Davis is like paying Gruden. Maybe like in 10 years he'll pay Gruden. Like, hey, after we get to Vegas and we get some cash, maybe we get a loan. What if he gets a line of credit from some fucking casino over there? going to get on the
this
whole
might
thing.
be a dumb question. That's why it's only a question. Is there any reason, though, to pay the top defensive player in the league that much money if your defense sucks with or without him?
I don't know.
Like, do you try to just rebuild?
I don't know. It's like
I don't know, dude. I have no idea.
the reason why the Bears can pay him. The Bears are trying to hope. I think it's like a Seattle situation where they made that run. Seattle made that run like where Russ was
QB.
still on his rookie quarterback. So they're hoping that Trubisky works out. He doesn't have to be as good as Russell Wilson, but
He's
maybe
not.
just. I mean, I don't remember what Russell
Zito,
Wilson
what's
did
that all
his
about
senior
right
year.
there? He just took shots at Mitchell
his freshman.
Trubisky right there.
Mitchell will talk his talent. I actually don't know. I have no
I had so many people saying like, "Oh, everyone in Green Bay shitting their pants." Like, not really. Like, I mean, it makes them better, but
Green Bay will be better, obviously, but definitely there's going to be freedom.
The Bears are still a year.
yeah, I know
away,
that's
but-
what I just said.
But
though.
they still have that rookie contract, quarterback
Yes,
contract that they can build around. And they just
3
paid
more
Derek Carr,
years.
didn't they? Didn't Derek Carr get paid on
yeah,
Raiders?
I think he's scheduled to make like $25 million this year. Or
Very
something.
difficult to pay a lot of people whenever you have to pay your quarterback. That's why the whole Seattle system, just like we blew it with Luck. Like we had
On his rookie contract.
we had the setup possibly with Luck. We blew it. They did it in Seattle. It's going to be tough if quarterbacks continue to take a higher and higher percentage of the salary cap, which is going to happen. Salary cap goes up, quarterback salaries go up. If that continues to happen, I think you're going to see a lot of teams kind of.
That's what happened in Baltimore when they had to pay Flacco. They had to start trading off players and cutting guys. And in Philly, it's going to happen too when they got to pay once.
Exactly.
Is Wentz going to play? He's not.
No,
week
Foles was
one.
named. So there was 3
Doug
starting.
Peterson went after the Philadelphia media.
Yeah, he's been pissed for the last few weeks.
Bro, with a visor, good hair, comes in, fires at the fucking media. Thank you guys for putting words in my mouth. And then there's some little nerdy reporter. What does that mean? Doug Peterson, like, yeah, you shut the fuck up.
So Carson's not taking one snap this whole preseason.
No. I don't even know he's been cleared yet.
In games, I'm assuming in practice he's been doing stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's been videos of him pre-game doing, like, his fucking drop back and moving around in the pocket shit like that.
I think we all agree with this, though. Thursday cannot come soon enough.
Oh, man.
Cannot wait for it. College football wasn't bad, by the way.
No.
And we'll get into that in a second. I think, Diggs, you're a college football gambler, so you know what happened. We'll get into that in a little bit. But Thursday night cannot come soon enough. The NFL is back. And also back is a sponsor that's been with us since the beginning. These folks reached out to me on Twitter 2 days after, or a day after my resigning statement on the notes. They were like, hey, man, we haven't been able to sponsor you for a long time because another business got in there, but we were one of your original sponsors. These folks flew me to Gillette Stadium to go do a fantasy football like hangout, basically. I got a chance to drink with them in Gillette Stadium and also in Michigan. Good friends of ours, and they were so excited to get back into the loop. And I hope you all go ahead and play fantasy football with these people because they are good people, and they're helping us out a lot here. Now, Thursday's show, we're going to learn a lot about a lot of companies. There's a lot of negotiations happening behind the scenes right now. Thursday's show, we might have 45 spots. It's going to be a long one. Just know that. But today, a back-on-the-board sponsor, DraftKings.com.
Let's go.
On Thursday Night Football will make its long-anticipated return to living rooms across America and Canada. This means bragging rights and huge cash prizes are up for grabs at DraftKings.com, the leader in one-week fantasy sports. For the season opener, DraftKings is hosting a fantasy football contest that is $10 to enter and has a $1 million top prize, but for a limited time only. If you sign up with code PAT today, DraftKings will give you a free entry with your first deposit. So although it is $10 to enter for everybody else, if you sign up with the code PAT, it is free for you to enter with your first deposit. Single Game Showdown is the newest way to play. All you have to do is draft 6 players from Thursday's game, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Put your football knowledge to work, and you could win $1 million while watching the season opener. The top prize is $1 million. But you don't have to come in first to be a winner. There are $2.5 million in total prizes, which means incredible work by you. I didn't think we could all get it together, to be honest. I didn't think we could time it up. Great work by you, Nick. In total prizes, which means thousands and thousands of winners. So download the app or go to DraftKings.com now and use promo code PAT to sign up and make your first deposit. When you do, DraftKings will give you a free shot at $1 million this Thursday. That's code PAT at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Win $1 million. Shout out DraftKings, by the way.
Nice to have them back.
Patrick.
It is very great to have them back. What's up, Diggs?
I have breaking news.
Scoops? Bro. We got just a fucking hacky coming out of Ty's phone. Scoops, Diggs, what do you got?
Not my scoop, unfortunately. This came from Steelers GM Kevin Colbert.
Okay.
He just put out a statement.
Mm-hmm.
Le'Veon Bell has informed us that he will not be reporting for Week 1 game versus Browns. As per his holdout situation, they're going to roll with James Conner in Week 1.
Wow.
So
let's get a Yinzer take real quick. I don't care. Back to the show.
He's a fucking liar.
He said he's going to be
He
back.
said he's going to be back Week 1, just like last year, and have the best fucking season of his career. He's a fucking liar.
The agent told us. He's going to have the best year.
Yep.
If you look at last year, he wasn't off to a slow start. They just weren't giving him the ball as much. This year, he was planning on coming in and crushing. Diggs, how does this make you feel as a super Yinzer big-time
Not
Steeler
happy.
fan?
Not fucking thrilled, to be honest with you.
Why would he do that?
I don't know, because he hasn't signed his – so I'm going to need your insight here.
Okay.
He hasn't signed his franchise tender.
Mm-hmm.
So him holding out, like, what is that even doing for him? Because the Steelers can't negotiate a new contract for him right now, right?
Nope. Can't
Nor
negotiate.
can they trade him until he signs that tender.
Nor can they fine him, by the way, because he's not technically. He's just kind of in a no man's land.
But if he's missing Week 1, he's definitely missing that franchise, that money from the franchise tag, right?
Yeah, I don't know, because once you sign a franchise tag, it's fully guaranteed.
Correct.
So the franchise tag is fully guaranteed no matter what.
So does this take 1/17th out of his franchise tag?
I don't think it would, by the way. Just because now, granted, there's probably some asterisks all over the place. I don't think this has happened often, by the way. I think it's a fully guaranteed contract as soon as you sign a franchise tag, no matter what.
Really?
I think.
Let me find out.
Is this kind of like Carson Palmer did too?
Carson Palmer retired.
Yeah. So like Le'Veon has to retire, and then next year he'd come back in the league.
Yeah, because his contract would be up. Nobody would own his rights after this year. Franchise tag technically means the Steelers own his rights for this season, but if he doesn't sign it, I think he's just kind of like just floating in space. But as a former franchise player, as soon as that thing was put in front of me, I was told you're a guaranteed $2.4 million. I signed that thing at a sushi restaurant in Hermosa Beach. As soon as that thing got printed out, signed it, picture, send that shit back, we're getting millions.
Excuse me, do you guys have a printer?
That really happened. That actually happened. I was with Trip Hale. I'll never forget. I was with Trip Hale. We were at a bar. I got a text message. It was like, the Colts are franchise tagged you. I'm like, awesome. What does that mean? Well, we got that whenever we were in Canada.
Yep.
I go to California as soon as we get back from Canada. They're like, the franchise tag, the whole thing has been drawn up or whatever. I'm like, perfect. Email it to me. At the bar I'm at with Trip Hale, I go back into their computer, log into my email, print it out, sign it, take a picture, send it back. We're locked in. I would like to buy 200 shots.
Were they sake bombs?
I'm assuming it was a sushi place. I'm assuming it was sake bombs. I'd like to buy it for everybody in here. I just became a millionaire. This is a pretty cool little moment here. Everybody can eat a dick. What are you looking up, Diggs?
I'm trying to find out, because I thought I saw like worst case scenario. This was like doomsday scenario. Before was like week 6 or week 8 he could show up.
And still be fully guaranteed. Let's
Let's
assume it's half. Let's assume it's less than half. What if he puts out another rep song?
This one hurts. You know, because always going to be forgiven in my mind if 2-6 showed up week 1. I don't care if you skip camp. I don't care if you miss practice. You know that guy's going to be good. You know he's going to be ready to play when he shows up. If he's not showing up till week 6, that's tough to swallow.
I mean,
Pittsburgh's going to hate him. Yeah. He's going to get booed. Every time he gets the ball. It's like in the NBA. You know how if somebody gets the ball, the whole place boosts? Mm-hmm. I feel like that could possibly happen at Heinz Field. While he's running for like 150 yards, 200 yards, every time he gets. Pittsburgh is not a place.
Will he care? Probably not, but it doesn't do him any favors. James Conner is like one of the most likable guys on the planet.
Yeah, what if he blows it up?
Beat cancer. Guy beat cancer in Pittsburgh. Like everybody in Pittsburgh's like, who gives a fuck about the strip club rapper? We got a guy that beat cancer here who's at work. It's wild that the agent, when he talked to us, I feel like he lied to us, didn't he? I feel like he lied to us. He could have told us that Levitt was going to skip the first week. We could have had the big scoops. Scoops could have been scoops over there.
Yeah.
I know.
But instead, he got a DM earlier today saying he's coming Wednesday. And then Diggs was all excited, by the way. I want to let everybody know, Diggs got a DM this morning from a guy named Joe. Literally, some schmo named Joe says, if it means anything, just in a fantasy football draft with Le'Veon Bell. He's reporting on Wednesday. Isn't that what the message said to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Diggs was like, can't wait to break this news today. And I was like,
Marquise Pouncey said the same thing.
Yeah, my sources keep
Made
fucking
him look like a dummy, too.
So the one thing the Steelers can do,
okay.
I don't think it makes sense to them. Maybe they can rescind the tag, which
Oh, then he's a free agent.
Yeah.
Then anybody can pick him.
Okay, so
know.
there is a scenario
So-
where he could possibly end up on another team.
yeah,
this
I
season.
was watching I was watching
Let's go
Florio
Colts.
this morning, and
I'll tell you what, the Colts pick up Lev Bell because he sits out. Well, we would gladly take employee 2-6 here in Indianapolis. Week 4, by the way.
See, the Steelers, if they did it, that's just absolute piss poor management, and that's letting the pride get ahead of you. You got to at least wait then. You make him sign it in week 6 or 8 or whatever it is, and trade him as soon as he signs them.
Sounds
You
like
can't lose him for nothing.
what you're listening to is real resent right now.
no, we're scrambling to
No,
find,
I understand
find a way
it.
to
I get it
come out on
from
top.
I get it from 2-6's point of view, but at the same time, I'm a big fan of it. I do it in hockey all the time. Like, you can't lose an asset for nothing.
I also see what
As
you're
a team
saying, 'cause
manager.
that's a guy who's worth 2 first-round picks.
Yes, there it is.
sure.
See, there's another guy.
Yeah.
That's another guy. If I was running a GM, now granted, will he show up? That's if I trade 2 first-rounders and he decides not to show up, that's a interesting roll of the dice. But there's a guy if you just look at his stats and let his agent tell you, he is only getting better and better and better. There's this is a Michigan State guy, by the way, Foxy.
Yeah,
know.
it's fucking Michigan State.
It's sad to see, actually. I didn't think he'd be like this. I'm going to be on your
Is
guys'
that right?
side. Yeah.
You didn't.
What made you think that?
What could have possibly made you think that?
I just think he's a good guy.
Maybe he is, though, by the way. We don't know. This is all business,
Yeah.
by the way. This is all business. Now, granted, business is the reason why this show is happening and releasing at noon. By the way, Tuesday, Thursday at noon. How far into this thing are we?
About an hour.
Okay, I want to do something.
Okay.
Dig, say a word right now.
Yup.
Okay. Tweet me with the hashtag PMS2. Use an actual point and 0. I know the hashtag will stop after that. Hashtag PMS2.0 with the word that Diggs just said. First person to tweet us that wins a what should they win? Maybe $100 Visa card.
Oh.
$100
For anything you want.
Anything you want. $100 Visa card. First person to tweet hashtag PMS 2.0. What is it, Diggs?
Yup. YUP. Yup.
1P? Maybe 3 Ps. There it is. YUPPP. Hashtag PMS 2.0. This is going to be something that's going to happen every show, whether it's merch, gift card like this, things like that, because as soon as it comes out at noon, I would thank if you guys listen and let's win. Let's do this together because there's a lot of give and take here. Like us recording the show this morning and then releasing it at noon, I'll be able to tweet with people while the show's going on. I'm very excited for this whole thing. Heartland Radio Monday, Wednesday, we'll be doing the same thing, whether it's our new merch line that's going to be launching, I think, in next week. I believe we're launching a merch line. It's only like 2 shirts. So I don't know if it's a line. It's more like a colon.
Gotta start somewhere.
But that's
They're the best 2 shirts of all time, though.
They're pretty good shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good shirts. And not a lot of people have them. And I know that strictly because I had to place the order for how many shirts there were. there won't be a lot of them. So hashtag PMS 2.0. Yup with 3 Ps. First person to do that wins a $100 Visa credit card. Appreciate that. Also, best review in the, what's that?
The iTunes store.
In the iTunes thing. Best review. Most hilarious review. Eloquent. Ty will read these. Ty will pick. You will win a $50 Visa cash card. $50. Now we're winning. And possibly a Madden code if you don't have one. So maybe we give away a Madden code and $50 best review. We need because we're starting from 0 here. By the way, we're right back at 0, right back where we started when we were in the basement of my house recording into bad devices. Here we are back at it. College football, Diggs. You want to give a little rundown of everything that happened?
Nick Saban was a dick.
Bro, what was that all about?
I don't know. All she did, Maria Taylor, is that her name?
Yeah.
All she did was basically ask, how did your quarterbacks play? And he fucking went off on her.
For no reason, by the way. Maybe, I don't know, after they win, by the way, by a lot. I get it. Bill Belichick, we're onto this. We're we're miserable. We're not talking about it. Don't get too high on the highs, too lows on the low. But he was miserable.
Well, it wasn't a trapping type question.
How do
the
you
way he
feel?
reacted.
How do you feel about your quarterbacks?
Yeah, they both played great. That's all you had to say.
It was wild, wasn't it?
Like when you have someone who started the entire last season and then lost his job to another guy, and then both of them play in the game, you're going to get the fucking question on how they played.
Hey, Nick, welcome to college football, by the way.
That's why he fucking couldn't hack it in the pros, because he couldn't take anything not going his way.
Well, he wants that hard knock show.
He's a dictator.
He wants the hard knock show where they're inside. Are they really, though? He wants the $20 million, $15 million dining hall. He wants all the perks of college football. But the only negative is having to deal with press and media. And when you're at the top of the mountain, which Alabama is, I mean, you're going to get questions about the most important position on a football team. And if she would have, fired back at him 3-4 times, maybe I get it. But standard post-game field interview.
Yeah, just doing her job.
Nick, that's tough,
And
Nick.
apparently he called her on Sunday morning and apologized.
Well, yeah, I mean, he should have.
Publicly or privately?
Privately. I think that's just chicken shit. I don't know.
He's fucking nuts.
Well, because he knows he's going to see her again this
Yeah,
season.
for sure.
The old Nick Tater having to fucking swallow his
like
words.
that a lot.
If she re-asks that question next week, that'd be the
Like
funniest
we
thing.
put that shirt out. Nick Tater with a picture of his face.
Quick question, Nick. Last time, not so good. You did the same thing this game where one guy played and then the other guy played. They're both pretty important to the whole storyline here. How do you think your quarterbacks did today? Goes, you fucking bitch! And just walks off. That'd be beautiful.
Nick Saban was also a Michigan State guy at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Not a good trend
He's
going.
from West Virginia, though, I think.
Yeah, yeah. But he was the coach.
What
at
could
one
have possibly been going on behind the scenes that made him so
It's
pissed?
just like the Doug Peterson thing. He's just tired of hearing the same question because he doesn't have a good fucking answer for it.
Yeah, he doesn't. Doug Peterson, I think they've been covering some shit up. That's why. That's like Andrew Luck whenever he was getting interviewed, whenever he had the hurt shoulder. It was every answer he gave was terrible because I think they were telling him he couldn't say certain things. So Andrew Luck couldn't be Andrew Luck, right? So they're like, you can't say this, you can't say this, you can't say this. If you say this, we say this.
Right.
So Andrew Luck's interviews were always just very dead down. And I don't know that for sure, but that's just from watching somebody give interviews, hearing him say things and just being like, that answer didn't make any sense. And versus now where he's just wide open about everything. And I'm assuming they're doing the same thing with Doug Peterson, where they're like, you can't say this, you can't say this, you can't say this. And it seems like Doug Peterson's personality is more like just want to kind of keep it moving, you know?
I think Doug is also
Not the media's fault, by the way.
every practice and every preseason game and realizing Nick Foles is who we thought he was.
Super Bowl MVP?
And he has to start him.
Oh, you're saying pre-camp out in the woods?
Yeah.
Pre-little peace pipe in the woods, decide to come back to football.
I have a question about that. How much of that is associated with Frank Reich leaving? Like, how important is that in the locker room?
I'm hoping a lot, by the way. Just as a Colts fan, I'm hoping Frank Reich is the reason why Nick Foles could potentially be doing bad.
Agreed.
That'd be good for the Colts.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Great for the Colts. Be really good for the Colts.
It's a 1 year wonder. Nick Foles out.
Speaking,
That's crazy.
Speaking of West Virginia coaches, Jimbo Fisher leaves Florida State, and they look like dog shit.
Dog shit.
Bro, so much swagger. The kickoff team doing the whole thing. Love it. Love everything about it. The whole stadium blacked out. Love it. Florida State, we're back at it. Let's go. Dog shit football team.
And Aguayo misses a chippy. That's
tough, that family. That mom does not deserve it. They were on top of the world.
Oh, yeah.
The Aguayo family was on top of the world.
Second round draft pick.
Now, it's all coming down. It's all
Florida
coming
State
down.
Virginia Tech, top Florida State.
Defenses, by the way, looked really good.
Oh, yeah. They're a lot of, the LSU-Miami game, I think, I was the first quarter, those dudes were fucking flying around.
Hitting, too.
Yeah.
That Virginia Tech Florida State game was some hitting. I enjoyed it from a standpoint of, this is good defense. But, man, watching that team just fumble all over themselves, and watching you bet Florida State.
No, I had Virginia Tech.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I put everything I had left in my bank account because I had a rough weekend, put it on Virginia Tech. We're back, baby.
We're back.
Put that money in my bookie.
I'm
Promo
going
code
to.
Pat. They'll match it. Beat Pat McAfee this Thursday, 11:50. I get 5 minutes. Can I hit 19 NBA threes in 5 minutes?
I'm saying
That's
yes.
gonna be a piece of cake.
I'm thinking I can too.
Is your jump shot back?
I don't know. I'm going to have to work today. I'm going to have to do some work today. I blew out my shoulder. People forget. Blew out my shoulder carrying groceries.
I think you do it in 3 minutes.
I was going to say 5 minutes is a lot of time.
So we're going to have a rack there next to me. I can pick from any spot.
So you don't have to like go all the way around and then back?
No, I could pick it from any spot. It just has to be an NBA 3.
You got to find that sweet spot.
So I think I know. I'm going to go from the, what's the side? Wing. Is that what it's called? I think I'm going to go from a wing right next to a pillar. Right on the other side of a pillar. We'll have a rack there. I assume Zito's going to have to go run and buy a bunch of basketballs today. I don't know who's going to be rebounding. Need an athlete under there.
You need.
I was going to say, is this bet with just you shooting your own rebounding? Or is
No. Those balls can come back.
No, you need rebounders, and then you need someone standing next to you, catching the or
Putting it in the rack.
In the right.
Yes, so I can grab the rack. Bang. 5 minutes, 19.
I'm pretty good at handling racks, so I think I should be next to this.
You also need a guy to put the 3 up every time you shoot one.
Like in the ref shirt?
Yeah, I think like Todd's wearing the ref shirt.
In the ref shirt. Zito will have the Flava Flav clock on his chest around his neck so the crowd can see how much time.
So I'm buying a clock today and balls.
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't think this type of thing has been done before, where you can just gamble on somebody live for 5 minutes.
Come all for the degenerates.
Yeah. Promo code Pat, 100% match on that. I love that. Any other stories? West Virginia knocks down Tennessee, by the way.
Yeah, they fucking handled them.
Will Greer looks really fucking good. He throws the ball in an interesting way. It looks like he palms the whole fucking ball. And he's just putting it on a dime. Like, he's hitting throws that normally, and this sounds bad, I watched Jameis Winston play Pitt his final year at Florida State.
He looked really good that game.
In that game, he was throwing balls like to a pinpoint. That's what Will Greer looked like last night or this weekend. Will Greer was putting the ball in spots where
he's really good.
Runners ball, shit like that. It was great.
I want to let you know too, I'm a big WVU guy this year.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
I'm a big John Denver fan.
Oh, Country Reds. Greatest tradition in college football. Dana Holgerson said it right after the game. I was like,
goosebumps.
Good marketing, Dana Holgerson. We've been doing that for a long time after every win. Country Roads in the whole stadium. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Underrated, I think.
It's a great tradition. I definitely pandered this weekend.
Yeah, I saw
I saw that.
And I put out that the greatest tradition in football is Iowa waving to the kids at the children's hospital.
Yep, go Hawks.
You're such a good guy, dude.
I really am.
All right.
Speaking of Pitt, though, college football, they play Penn State. Penn State barely snuck out over Appalachian State.
Oh, AQ was not happy
AQ
with me.
was not happy. He went after me, too, because I couldn't find it on TV.
Oh, yeah, thanks. You're
I was
fucking
loving
skull.
it. I was watching the meltdown on Twitter.
I was blacked out, too, pretty much what was happening.
So I saw him go after you.
Yeah.
So I knew that it would piss him off. So I tweeted, where can I watch the App State game at?
Oh, I saw that.
It's over, Pat.
AQ, it's over. Don't worry about it. AQ was fucking upset. How about that, though? James Franklin's supposed to be a real good coach. Penn State's supposed to be pretty fucking good.
He's a good recruiter. He's been known as a good recruiter. His coaching always been a little skeptical.
You don't play Appalachian State week 1.
No,
Come on,
yeah.
this is the
the
tales of
11th
time.
year anniversary of
The
App
block,
State, Michigan.
Corey Lynch, by the way, was a member of our special teams at the Colts. Good guy. He's the one that blocked the kick. Special teams guru was with the Colts at the early part of my career. Good guy. Had no idea it was him until the highlight was shown in a team meeting. He was sitting right next to me. And he was like, yeah, that was the biggest moment of my life. I was like, that's you? I'm like, holy shit, you could sign pictures of that forever the rest of your life.
Did you give him shit? I always thought, because he got tracked down at, the 5.
White guy. Yeah.
Didn't get in.
He's a white safety. Great. Could get real skinny, could get thin, could block, knew where the ball was. That fucking handoff punt touchdown.
Toledo?
VMI.
Yeah, Toledo.
Virginia Military Institute in Toledo. Unbelievable.
It looked like a fake video.
There's
You know what
nobody
I mean?
blocking.
He was so casual about it, too. Didn't even celebrate.
So you're supposed to. So people don't know this. When you block a punt, you're supposed to go down. So you're supposed to go down to the ball. Everybody goes up. You're never going to get it. You're supposed to go down to the ball like you're diving into a pool. When you block a field goal, you're supposed to drive and go up. So it's two different. Some people try to block a punt. Like I should have had probably 3 more punts blocked, but the dumbass Russian put his hands up and it just went right through his fucking hands. So you're actually supposed to dive into a pool right at the ball, right at the foot. That guy, picture perfect block. It looked as if there was nobody blocking. Nobody at all. He almost beat the ball back there. And at that moment, you hope for the brand. He does the Kevin Huber behind the back pull thing. You know, you kind of hope for that. But that punter was a sitting duck. He actually commented on my video. He commented and he was like, my op time was good, man. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm like, nothing you can do, bro. Nothing you can do. Op time, operation time, by the way. He got his shit off in the right time. No, a block punt for Florida State last night. That punter looked bad, too.
That's Beamer ball, baby.
Is it, though?
That's Beamer ball, baby.
They always say that. It's like one every 5 years they do something
now
good.
It is. When they were in their prime, like they were fucking getting like 3 to 5 like a season.
Maybe Beamer ball is the reason why special teams changed completely, where they started putting real athletes on there. That's why you can't that's why you can't do directional punts anymore in the NFL. Really, like coffin corners, you can't really do it anymore because to do that you have to step out of like your pocket, and they just got like 6'5" monsters coming off the edge, just waiting to break your fucking leg in half. It's like, I'll just hit this little pooch shot.
And then because I don't know if it's because of that, I remember Florida Urban Meyer used to put like his fastest, like even like if you were the starting running back, you were on the punt block.
Ed Reed.
Yeah.
That's what fucking Ed Reed did. That moment with me and Ed Reed at the end of that Baltimore Ravens game, like a minute 10 left in the game, we're up by 2 or something. Just look at him. What the fuck are you doing out here to block this punt? And he just shrugs at me. I've never felt less of a man than that moment right there. Like, well, I hope Jack Doyle blocks this fucking Ed Reed. Jack Doyle, good luck. All right, let's get out of here. It's been a fun day. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can watch this on the YouTube if you'd like to watch it back. Subscribe, rate, review. Heartland Radio tomorrow at noon releasing. Todd guiding the ship. We'll have a good time with that. Pat McAfee show at noon on Thursday, 11:50. Get your bets in. 18.5 threes in 5 minutes. NBA threes in 5 minutes. Hammer the over. And they'll match the deposit 100% up to $1,000. This is easy money. And DraftKings, go ahead and win $1 million. Promo code PAT off your first deposit. Get a free entry into a $1 million prize pool. Big shout out to DraftKings. Big shout out to MyBookie for keeping this whole thing running. And whatever sponsors come on Thursday, very thankful for them. There's a lot happening behind the scenes. I got a lot of meetings too, by the way. 3 of the 5 mainstream networks,
sports networks,
have reached out to me, and we have conversations in the next couple of days. Will we be a live show again soon? I'm not sure. I very much love this potential schedule we're in right now. But there's a lot of conversations happening. I'm very thankful. A lot of companies have reached out that didn't reach out in the past. A lot of big swinging dicks, to be honest, have showed up in my emails that I did not expect. It was an overwhelming weekend. I thank everybody so much for your love. I thank Barstool for the year and a half that they taught me how to do the internet and helped me out with everything in the transition post-NFL. Obviously, things got a little ugly in the business side of things, but that's kind of what happens when you're 713 miles away. That was my decision to stay in Indianapolis because I fucking love this city. But to everybody listening, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the absolute best. Subscribe, rate, review. Best review, Madden code and $50 thing. And question earlier, PMS 2-point. Get your answer. If it's already, you're probably already missed it, if I had to guess. Diggs has something on his computer. Investors.
Yeah.
Possibly
you.
Yeah. So it's a YouTube show, too, every single day. Diggs is looking for cash. You can Venmo the kid.
Kid's hurt.
Aside from that, we don't have music, but Ty Schmidt hit the music.